Hi, hey Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. I want to show you how to do runners when you're making a sled for your table saw. And this only applies if you're going to use the double runner system. And so you have a runner in each one of these. So what you want to do, everybody tells you, and I mean, I have not yet heard anybody not say this, where you make up your runner and you just painstakingly get it till when you put it in there, it fits in there just ever so nice and snug as you move it. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. In fact, I don't want it to fit that way. I want it to be loose in there. And this is why. I'm going to set up my sled so that only the runners are only going to make contact inside my rail system here on the inside edge of both sides, so that they're squeezing right here against this, and that's what guides you through. By doing it that way, you reduce the amount of friction that it takes to push your table saw sled through across your table, because now it's not having to rub the outside and the inside on all four surfaces at the same time. And it's much easier to line it up for just two. Let me show you how I do that, and you'll see just how easy this thing really is. All I do is, I had the runner, and I want to make sure that it's a sloppy fit in there. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I cut it in half. And so I have my two runners now. And so what I do is you need electrical tape and you need a razor knife. Take your tape and count your wraps every time you go one full revolution around. And I go around let me start over. Go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I check it. And I'm going to back that off 1 just to see how that feels at only 4. And I get a snug fit with 4. So, I'm going to take and wrap this around 8 times around here. Twice as many as I just discovered what it takes for it to be snug in there. Well, we're going to do that twice as much. So now we're going to go around another 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're done. So now, we take this, and we're going to take and cut it into pieces. And we cut it into 4 pieces, like that. So that we have 4 little pieces, and the thickness is now twice as thick as it was when it fit. So that means that one side or the other, excuse me, is just the right thickness if you put it only on one side of your runner. So we cut this into 4 pieces now. 1, there's 1. Okay. Now I'm going to trim this away because I want to be able to set my plywood on top. So I don't want this up here. So I'm going to trim it away on the edge. And we're going to use this edge for our edge of this. So I could just pull it off and reset it. And this is just as easy. I'll just cut through it and pop that off. Now I take the second one here and I put it down here, making sure that it's not sticking over what's going to be the top of this runner when it's in place, and fold the rest of it back over out of the way on the bottom. And there's 2 of them. So then you take, after you do this on both of them, you take your runners, and we're going to put them in here with the tape to the outside edge. Just like this. Make sure that you're sticking out the back just a tiny bit, so you have something to grab a hold of with your fingers. And that's a little tight. So I'm going to take one layer off of this. Theoretically, I'm going to take one layer off. And we'll take one off of this one. It doesn't have to be critical. You don't have to have it in there a certain... You just want it to be snug, because that way it's pushing this against here. That's all you're trying to achieve. It doesn't have to be super tight. So, and just like that, whoop. And that one's in place. Then if I need to, if I have anything sticking up, oh, that was fun. I can take it and clean the excess off with my knife. That way, I know that when I put my plywood down on here, that tape won't hold it up off of this surface. So I just clean it off. And then I put this one in, again, making sure the tape is to the outside edge, making sure it's sticking out back here, the same distance as the other side if possible, and set it in place. Now these are in here. I did put a dime under it, so it's just slightly proud. I set my fence where I want it. I take my piece of plywood, put my glue on, set this on there, glue this down, and then put some weight on it and wait. Once the glue is kind of dried and I got these ready, I can take this now, and wherever this lip is sticking out, I can now lift it up out of there by that lip. And then I go in here and just peel the tape off. And now, when I put it on there, it'll be a nice, slick fit on these. So, you want to put them in place to glue it down, having them press toward each other and have space on the outside. I use electrical tape because I can build that up easily and cut it and use it. You just want to be able to hold this firmly in place until it's glued down. Once you've done that, contacting on the inside edge is all you need. Put some good wax on there, and I would probably wax them before I ever even attached them. But wax this edge up, round over the bottom inside corner just slightly so that it'll drop down in there easier rather than having a sharp corner on it. Because the inside edge here is what we'll contact first here. So make sure you round that over. And those runners will work very nice for you. And quite frankly, that's a lot easier to do than trying to get these things set in place, get them lined up, and get it glued on, and then not have them bind at certain points and others. You'll find that it'll give you a nice, true rail, but yet you don't have the hassle of having to exactly fit this to that rail in the process. Or also, I think theoretically, the amount of space you have between summer and winter of wood movement is going to be a lot less by only on the inside edge than on the outside and the inside. So as the wood swells up, it's only on one side that you have any problem. So rather than it really squeezing in between. So I think it really helps with the seasonal changes too, for the runners to stay pretty true and straight. Give it a try. See what you think. Try your runners like that for a year on your sled and see how it works after a year. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how easy it is to make these. You don't have to have full contact. Anyway, that's the video. I wanted to show you this little trick about how to do runners on the table saw to make a sled. So don't believe all those other guys. That's doing it the hard way. This way is much easier. I want to thank you for stopping by. If you like this video, say so. But most importantly, come back again because we're nowhere near done. And we'll see you again very soon.